live on YouTube and trying not to pissy pants about. Why can't I? Oh, I need to put my headphones on. Let's have a sit down. Oh, there. Oh, I can hear myself now. Right, now I need to start this. There we go. Got the chat. Okay, so excuse me shuffling about. So two questions up front. First of all, does anyone know if Doug is streaming this evening? Because I forgot to ask him. And oh, Joe's here. Joe will tell us. And the second thing is MultiTrack. Who's got it? And let's have some thoughts about it in the chat before I start. Let's have a look. Has anybody mentioned it already? Well, this app is about to get kicked off the iPad to make space for something I can use. Okay, well, maybe I can show you why you shouldn't kick it off your iPad this evening. Well, it's something that for me is kind of indispensable. So I'll show you kind of how I use it and stuff. And let's see if it kind of that may work for you. It may not. Let's see what else is here. Right. Okay. So hello, Jade, Wall, Russ, Joe. Thank you everyone for being here. Right then. Okay. So, what does everyone think to MultiTrack? Who's got it? Yeah, Jade. How do you say that? Do you say it like Chuck? Like as if you're from like where I live, where we're kind of common? Or is it like Chook, how it's spelt? I guess it's Chuck if it's chicken. Yeah? Maybe? Chuck. I'm going to go with Chuck. Okay. So, okay, well, let's, oh, by the way, you see this here? This, obviously, this is the phone that is recording the stream. And on the back of it here, you can see my Darth Vader phone cover because Star Wars is everything. Even though, you know, like the 3 prequels are a bit meh and the 3 sequels are a bit like double meh. But Rogue One is amazing. So yes, in the chat, thoughts about MultiTrack and Star Wars, and is Doug streaming this evening? Okay, I am going to... Jade's got MultiTrack and loves it. Marvellous. Okay, Wall loves Star Wars. Okay, like you even more than I did before. Well, okay. Maybe I should flip this around and let me just put this light out up here and we'll get a better picture. Yes, he is. Okay, so I presume he's starting at 8, so I shall keep it to an hour so as not to overlap with Doug. Okay, is my headphone lead long enough to do this? There we go. Right, and now I'll just go like this, get rid of that, and do this. Okay, so here is MultiTrack. This microphone really does pick up everything. I must stop shuffling. Okay, so Walt doesn't like Star Wars. Oh, I see. We've got kind of a bit of a wobbly picture here, actually. Let's see if I can just adjust this a little so it's a little bit less bent. I've given you a little insight into the sophisticated technology here that I'm using to stream with. Okay, done kind of on a budget. No expense has been spent. Okay, so we are looking at MultiTrack. This is an old project of mine, something that I did for a video some time ago, and this is actually just part of a song in here, which I'll explain a bit later on, I guess. But you can see here what we've got for anyone who hasn't looked at MultiTrack, knows nothing about it. It's basically a mini digital audio workstation. Look at it. It's like a baby DAW, and it's marvelous in that it's wonderfully simple. 2 things about it that I think make it so special. Number 1 is its simplicity, and number 2 is the fact that you can use it as an AUV3 inside of another app. And the way that most people would use it is inside of AUM, right? So, oh, we've got a couple more people joining the chat. Evening Audible video. Right, so, what was I saying? Stupid hippie. Oh yeah, right. So, first of all, yes, it's very, very simple. Now, for me, the digital audio workstations that we have on iOS, the traditional type ones, are all just a little bit not quite there. They're all just a little bit flawed. I mean, they all do some wonderful things. They all have some great, great features. But I think one of the things that is wrong with Cubase's 3, because I know Cubase's 3 is the one that always takes all the stick, and you know, and probably more from me than anyone. But I think the thing that's wrong with it is possibly just that if you look at Cubase's 2, it was simpler. It did less, but it was stable, right? It was steady. You could rely on it. You could start a project on it and finish a project on it without tons of terrible crashes and all kinds of weird glitches and stuff going wrong. Maybe Cubase's 3 just pushed the boat out a bit too far. Now, I have a thought about this, right? Now, for me, a lot of the digital audio workstation type software that I have used in the past, I've only used a percentage of it, right? A lot of them do a whole bunch of things, a lot of features that I've never used because I don't need those features. I want to be able to switch it on, plug my guitar in, plug my bass in, put my mic in, record some stuff, mix a song, add some effects, you know? I kind of, very often, I look through the menus indoors and I think, never used that, don't know what that. I'm kind of talking about desktop stuff, I suppose, at the moment, but you know, like, don't use that feature, don't use anything in that list, you know. I suppose people are into different kinds of production than me, might be into that. So, looking at this, right, you can record 8 tracks. It has, let's go through some features and I'll show you what it's got, just in case there's anybody out there who's never looked at it. So, we've got, here is where we select which bus we're recording in on. So like for me, I'm just recording one thing at a time. So everything's coming in on bus 1. Oh, and by the way, at the moment, I have a new interface plugged in. My Focusrite, the Scarlett, has still not arrived. But IK Multimedia were magic enough to send me the Pro Duo to have a look at. So that's what's plugged in at the moment. That's what the sound's coming through. And I've recorded a bit of acoustic guitar with it today, and it sounds magic. I really, the sound quality of it is just fantastic. And it kind of is very small, but has all the, it basically has everything on it, but it's really small. I'm impressed with it. I'm going to be doing a video on that very soon. So, whatever I've got plugged into that, you know, I'm doing one instrument at a time. So everything's coming in on bus 1, and we can trim the gain here, the input level, if we need to. Although I personally find that if I've set my input correctly on my interface, I never really need to touch anything like that. So, what else does it have? It's got its own metronome. And we'll look at these features later, host sync and remote. You can set it to do a counting for the metronome. It's got its own effects, so just simple effects. We've got delay and reverb. These are the faders for mixing the 8 tracks, and we can name the 8 tracks down the left hand side here, down here, and we've got and the name will also appear up here above the mixer. All quite nicely thought out. We can, because obviously, you know, it's kind of, we're looking at kind of a small window, but we can zoom this bit in and out so we can see our audio clearer. We've got different tempos we can set things to here. And everything's just like really, really easy to find. We've got an audio pool here for every bit of audio that gets recorded into the project is saved in here. And oh, right, number one bit of advice for MultiTrack. When you're starting a new project, immediately go up here and save it with a new name. Do that right away and you will thank me. Right, so we can, up here, we can have a backup of a song, we can restore old songs, we can look at the song's details. Hey, Vortex is here. Evening, Vortex. Now then, other controls we should know about. If we want the thingy, in fact, let's press play. This is only part of a song, by the way, so it might sound a bit, I don't think there's any drums in this. So, not hearing anything from that. I'm not sure. Oh, yes, there we go. See, this is just bits and pieces, right? It'll become clear later. Let's just right, okay. I know why we're not hearing anything. Stop that for a moment. I've just realised why we're not hearing anything from some of the other channels. What's going on here is MultiTrack has 8 output buses, and I've used this set to 8 different output buses inside of AUM. So if we want to change, right, okay, just backtrack a little bit. Right, so this button up here where it says effects, if I select that, I can change these buttons across here to a different function. So I can change it from effects to a pan control, or I can change it to my reverb level. I've not got any reverbs or delays set on this project because it was used inside AUM, and so I was using on the multi-output buses of MultiTrack in AUM, I was using, you know, various different effects and stuff. So there's nothing set in this project. I can show you that later. So another thing that we can select up here is output buses. So as you can see, we're going to 8 different ones here. So if I just quickly go across and change all of these back to output bus 1, then you should hear some other tracks. There we go. Let's go to the start. Right, so like I said, it's just part of a track, right? Some instruments are missing. That will become clear why later on. That brass, by the way, is from Beat Hook. The brass in Beat Hook is well, everything's fabulous in Beat Hook. Okay, right then, so this would take us back to the beginning of the track. We've got play and stop. This is our record button, which we'll use later on. We've got an undo button here, cut and copy and paste, all obvious things that we need in the DAW. Just very, very easy to find, very, very simple. We can duplicate a piece of audio, we can punch in and out. One thing that I love about this is we've got a button here for stereo or mono. So if we want to record in mono, it's not a problem. I think Steinberg ought to take notice of that. Now here is where we snap to beat or roam around free. So if we're moving a bit of audio around and we want to, let's just do that. We'll zoom in, or we are zoomed in. Right, so if I'm moving a piece of audio around and it's not moving, let's just, oh, there we are. Right, okay. So there, I'm altering the position that this piece of audio begins. So if I go like that, it's going to move in 30-second notes, and here we're going to move half a bar at a time. In fact, if I zoomed in a bit more, it would be a bit clearer, wouldn't it? There we go. So there, you can change at what degree you move about. Alright, so then this little plus over here, more useful things can be found. We've got split, so if we want to split a bit of audio, we just select the bit of audio and where we want it to split, and we can create a split there. And we can undo that if we decide that was a bad plot. Right then, we can have clip names on or off. I love everything labeled, you know, and I love how, like, on these bits of audio you can see it, you can see where I've labeled them, what channel they were recorded on. This clap here came from Digisticks at 125 BPM. I love all that. But you can switch that off if you wish. We can reverse audio, we can normalize, time stretch. So, you know, quite a whole bunch of useful features for such a small, inexpensive app. Oh, can somebody please for me, by the way, somebody maybe who doesn't have this app, maybe just nip over to the App Store for me and just find out a price, because as I have it, I can't check the price. And just pop it in the chat. That would be really useful. Thank you very much, so that I can tell everyone. Okay, right, so if we want to, if we're, I'll probably show you this in a bit actually, but if we're playing back some audio, so that this button here will mean that when this little guy, the little red line that tells us where we are in the project, when he goes off screen, the project will follow. Like that. Wouldn't it be nice if the button that's supposed to make Cubasis 3 do that actually worked? It switches itself off every 5 seconds. I've told them a million times, it still does it. Right, now when we're recording an instrument in, what we do, I'm going to show you this more later, but what we do is if we were, say, recording on this track down here, we simply arm this track, we're going to press record here, and then we press monitor up here so that we can hear the instrument that we're playing. And that's it, that's all you need to do. Now if this was hosted inside AUM, as soon as you pressed play, MultiTrack would start recording. That is if your host synced. Right, so we have this pressed so that we are moving along with the timeline in AUM. Okay, so I've started talking a lot about AUM, so I probably should go over to AUM and we'll have a look at it in there, because whilst you could use this as a little digital audio workstation, if you just want to do a small project and all you want to do is record some real audio, then why not use this? Because, you know, like, unless you need some fancy effects or, you know, some more kind of involved processing, you can record 8 tracks of real audio and mix it. And so, you know, why suffer the crashes of all the other digital audio workstations? Thank you very much, Samuel. $9.99 at the moment. Thank you very much for that. So, you know, that's pretty inexpensive for a fully functional digital audio workstation, which we can open up inside of AUM. Now let's just see if I've still got the project that the little project I was playing back just now, if I've still got the full version in there. Right, now I remember when I did this project, I used 3 instances of MultiTrack and I used all the multibus outs available to me. So Actually, on the first one, I think I just used 1, 2, 3, 4 tracks, and then I used all 8 on the other 2 instances of MultiTrack. So let me just explain that more deeply. This is the first instance I can't speak. The first instance of MultiTrack, and then we've got 3 extra buses. This is the second instance, and we've used all 8 buses, and this is the third one, and we've used 7 of 8 buses. So what I actually did when I made this project was I was recording real audio, and then I started to find the effects that I wanted and did all the EQs and everything, and exported that real audio and then brought it back into MultiTrack so that I could mix a full project, all the audio hosted inside of MultiTrack, so that I didn't need to add any more effects like onto any of the faders. All the effects were already done because of the limitations of my old steam powered iPad. So let's just do a little bit of maths, which is not my strong point. So 8 add 7 is 15. So it's 19 tracks playing back, and it's just 3 instances of MultiTrack really, in essence. So I remember that when I made this project, it didn't always play back quite perfectly because I was pushing the CPU. So it actually took me a few attempts to actually do the final mix down. So let's just play it briefly and let's see how it goes. See, it's already starting to go out of time there. So I am asking a little too much of my iPad with this project. And I remember that being a problem. But it did eventually work. And I actually played this back earlier on today, and it played back perfectly. I pressed play again, and it didn't work, right? It sort of started messing up. And what I don't understand, right? I'm in airplane mode. I've got nothing else open. What I don't understand is why sometimes things like this will play back fine, and then another time they'll glitch all over the place. Give it another try. And there it is, going out of time again. I don't know if how clearly you can see this up here where the DSP is, but I mean, the project there, it's like jumping from 22% to over 100% and back in a fraction of a second. I mean, I don't know what that's about. But anyway, let me show you. If I just start a new project, I just want to show you something. Let's go clear. All right, so I'm going to open myself a fader. Now there's 2 ways that I can open MultiTrack. If I want to record into MultiTrack, I would go here to hardware input, and I'm going to select iRig Pro Duo left, right? And that's where my guitar would be coming in. And then I would put MultiTrack there, right? So that's how we get the guitar into MultiTrack, or microphone, or whatever other instrument, right? Okay, so then if I want to, I can add another bus. So I would go like this. Hang on, I'm going to the wrong thing. I'm telling you how to do it and I'm doing it wrong, right? So I would go to the effects slot and the next fader alone, go to multi-bus instances, right? And there I've got bus 2. So then inside of here, I would, let's just open up some audio. So we'll load a song. What shall we grab? I don't know what to open. Let's go with what is that even? I don't even know what that is. Right, so if I play that, will that, oh, right, okay, so first things first. Okay, so if I want MultiTrack to play along with AUM, right, I have to host sync it, and then it will just start playing when you start. All right, okay. So it's an early version of the track we were just listening to. Okay, right. So I've pressed host sync, so it plays when AUM plays. If I take that off, you can use play within MultiTrack, which is very useful because sometimes I find myself spending some time with just the audio, just working in MultiTrack and getting that right, and then I'll bring all the other instruments back in. So I'll put my host sync back on and I'll press play in AUM and hear everything together. Okay, now if I go up to effects up here and go to my output bus, right, we've got output bus 2 going, that's already set. It would be nice if it wasn't already set, you know, if it wasn't already set, and you know, I could have just shown you. But anyway, right, so let's just pretend that you didn't see that. Right, so so we've got, right, so that audio is just coming down this track. Now if I switch this bus, all right, so now I've got 2 separate buses, and I can do that up to 8 times, which is really pretty cool, because whilst MultiTrack does have its own mixing desk, right, I can mix everything inside here. These faders are obviously very, very small, so it's really nice to be able to use the big AUM faders, and then of course after MultiTrack I can add effects to each instrument. So let's just see now. We've got on here, oh yeah, I'm pressing the wrong thing. Great demonstration. Right, so this guitar has already got effects on it, but let's just pretend that it hasn't, right? Just for demonstration purposes. Let's say I wanted to add a little bit of delay or something there, right? So let's say I wanted to add a bit of choose a delay, Jamie. See, sometimes having too many apps can be like, oh, I can't choose. Right, so now right, so okay, you know, that's not really a suitable delay, but it just sort of for demonstration purposes, just to show you. So I could have my one instance of MultiTrack, but with 8 faders, 8 output buses, and mix really pretty professionally. And if I had a better iPad, I might be able to mix as many channels as I want to. Let's just check the chat, because I'm kind of steaming ahead with explaining, but let's just let's just have a little look at the chat. So, that's my reading sound effect. It's cool, but wouldn't it be easier in GarageBand? Seems like a long way of working. Okay, Russ. Well, yes. Okay. Yes. Inside of a digital audio workstation, if you were wanting to work in a traditional fashion, you know, and I mean the old school kind of digital audio workstation, then yeah, it would definitely be easier to work in GarageBand or Cubase 3 when it works, you know, Audio Pro if it did work, you know, like it would. But there are things that we can do in AUM that are just simply wonderful, and AUM opens up lots and lots of doors. But the problem with AUM is that because it doesn't actually have like its own piano roll, and because the transport bar is extremely limited. I mean, if they evolved this somewhat, that would make me very happy. But you know, it's kind of a lot of people really enjoy making music in AUM. But when I hear that music, an awful lot of it is very one chord jam. It's great for, I suppose, you know, like maybe some ambient stuff and droney stuff. But if you want to set up a song structure type situation, you know, if you want to have like an introduction and a verse and a pre-chorus and a chorus and a, you know, a repeat and a change in the middle, you know, an outro section, if you want to have all of that, that is difficult to set up in AUM without using some apps hosted inside it, things like LK or things like MultiTrack, like DigiKeys, maybe Atom, things like that. It's AUM opens a lot of doors, and it's nice to be able to include some real audio with those things. But certainly, definitely, for recording some kinds of songs, my first protocol would be, it wouldn't be GarageBand because I don't get on with GarageBand very well. It's my fault, not not GarageBand's. But you know, Cubase is 3. I might use. You know, I'm sort of falling out with it again a bit at the moment. I know Paul is a really big fan of Cubase 2 and doesn't have Cubase 3. And you know what? Sometimes I think, you know, why don't I just use Cubase 2? I mean, you know, 3 got loads better, but I'm hearing like lots of bad reports from people who have vastly superior iPads to me. Like their situation is worse than mine. There's something really wrong with that. Yeah, yeah, Jade. It wasn't an intentional pun, but you know, I'll take that. Yeah, yeah. AUM opens a lot of DAWs. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, I noticed a comment, and I can't see who said it now, but somebody said, "Why not just record in AUM?" And yeah, you know, you can do that. You can record in AUM, but you know what you can't do in AUM is you can't like record an introduction and then stop and arrange the next bit of your song and then come back and, you know, record your verse and then, you know, sort of introduce some little fades and glue those bits together. You can't do all that digital audio workstation type stuff in AUM without using something like MultiTrack. And I'm really surprised that there aren't like more apps like this one. You know, it really shocks me because AUM is so popular. And it makes me wonder sometimes, are most people not really interested in recording vocals and guitars. I mean, are they not? You know, are we are we a dying breed? Maybe, I don't know. I don't know, but this really, really works for me. Now I have to show you something before I forget. By the way, I recently made a video about, well, just the other day, I released a video about LK, and I'm using MultiTrack in that. And if you've seen the video, fantastic. If you haven't, LK isn't for everyone. I appreciate that, but it is incredible. And if you take that learning curve, if you take that on and figure out, figure the app out, the potential of it inside of AUM is absolutely staggering. And using it as a door in AUM is only one thing that it does. It does lots of other things besides, which I'm not going to get into now because this is not supposed to be a stream about that. But yeah, in that video about LK, I was wanting to use MultiTrack to record the audio alongside of LK. Let me open a project here. What did I call it? Oh yeah, there we go. Right. So in this project, this is something is a bit of a sketch at the moment. I've just kind of started it. So I've got LK, and all it's doing at the moment, audio-wise, is it's just sending MIDI information to EG Pulse. And the drums, it's just an outline sketch just to keep me in time, just to give me a feel for this project that I'm developing. I'm working on something. I've got this new thing happening. And so it's just an outline sketch. Let me just mute this and play it. So, right, so you see the drums, they're nothing special. It's just an outline at the moment. I'm just getting going on this thing. Now, in LK, we have here, we have the drums, and this is just a MIDI channel that is just, I'm not going to go into detail on this. It's in my LK video if anyone's interested. Basically, all this does, this channel, this track tells LK when to move through the clips, because LK is a clip launcher. So it's more, the workflow is more like Gadget. So this actually is not the right version of this. It's not opened the right version for me. Why has it done that? Wait a minute. Did I call it something else? Did I save it as something else? Oh dear. My project is gone. Well, what's that about? Really? Have a good look. Oh dear. Right, okay, so the project I was going to show you seems to have disappeared. Okay, see you later, Russ. Enjoy your dinner, dude. Enjoy your dinner. So, what am I going to do about that then? Because that was kind of like the next big, really impressive thing to show you. Oh dear. Hang on. No, I've not got any other banks. Well, I don't believe it. It's not saved my... Oh dear. Okay, right. Excuse me complaining. I just don't know what I'm going to do about this now. Okay, right. So, improvise. Here, in MultiTrack, I have some audio. Now, the problem with a clip launcher is that if you want to record audio to go alongside it, that's not going to work if you're trying to like run it in conjunction with, because a clip launcher like this, this is just going to send MIDI out. It doesn't host any audio at all. So I can have tons of tracks in here sending MIDI information to lots of different instruments in AUM, and build a massive project, but I can't use it to record or arrange any audio. So what we do is we use something as a host for the audio and send MIDI triggers from LK to that thing that's hosting the audio and trigger that audio off. Now in my LK video I did that with EG Pulse. So what I did was I recorded some audio and I dropped samples of guitar onto pads in EG Pulse, right? Because if you think about it, when let's just go into one of these little piano rolls here, right? So these MIDI notes here, all they're doing is sending information to an instrument and telling them to play. So at the moment, this piano roll is sending this information to EG Pulse and making these drums play. So I thought, right, if I put my samples of guitar on these pads, I can get LK to tell EG Pulse when to play my guitar samples, right? Okay, so I think that makes sense, right? So originally I was going to use MultiTrack, but it didn't work because MultiTrack's kind of linear. So when LK is like, because it's a clip launcher, so when it's looping round and round, then it's MultiTrack doesn't know or didn't know where it was in the project. So it all just kind of went very, very pear-shaped. But then Paul the other day introduced a new feature in MultiTrack. So I was going to show you this like fully working and then explain it, but looks like I'm going to have to explain it and then hopefully get it to work before Doug streams. So I better crack on. Right, so here's how this works. In this project, I have got, on track 1, I've got 12-string guitar. On track 2, I've got my Jamiemal guitar. And on track 3, I've got some fretless bass. And we're not host synced at the moment, so if I just press play here, from the start, preferably, stupid hippie. Right, so there's my very beautiful 12-string. And then here is there's my Gemini, and then my fretless bass. Right, okay, and a little bit of all three together. So, okay, we've got 3 instruments in MultiTrack, and you'll see that they're all in sections. So here, this is my introduction, and everything's labelled, although you probably can't see close enough, but everything's labelled, what instrument it is, what part of the song it is, name of the song and everything, right? So, so this is the verse, and then we've got the chorus section, and then we've got no, pre-chorus, chorus. This is the bridge for the middle bit of the song, and that's the last final chord for the end of the song. And if I do this, right, let me just re-engineer all this. Okay, right. So what we need is a loop that will play along to LK. So that if you're working along with a clip launcher and you want some audio that will run in time with that, what you can do is you can, let's zoom in closer. There we are. Right. So the guitar starts here, and it doesn't matter actually where I put the end of the loop. You'll see why in a moment. So I'm going to put my loop on, and I'm going to define where the loop is going to start and stop. And then I'm going to go to remote. I'm going to switch remote on rather. Then I press and hold on remote, and I take a snapshot and then I decide I'm going to put that snapshot in bank number 1. Okay, so there's my introduction. So let me just do that again. I think I might have done that from the wrong place. I wanted to start here. Yeah, I wanted to start right there. Yeah. Okay. Take my snapshot again. Put it in bank 1. Okay. Right, now if I go to LK, why does it do that? I need to add a track here. And this is my introduction. I can see something going wrong here, but I might just let it go wrong and then correct it later and teach something else as well. Right, so in here, if I go to properties and set up a little piano roll, I just need to check how long my introduction is. My introduction is 6 bars long. So what I need here is a guitar part that is 6 bars long. Clip properties, 6 bars, and then the note that will trigger loop number 1 is C3. So now, hopefully, all being well, if I press this, it should work. Right, okay. And now what's happened is that because I've set this loop in fact what I should have done actually, right, is let you watch it in MultiTrack. Okay, and so what's gone wrong now is that MultiTrack is now looping this section, but LK has moved on to the verse. So what I would do, obviously, I don't need to arrange my whole song in front of you for you to see how this would work, but I would go in here and I would add another part, and I would use C3 sharp to trigger off the next loop, and so that's all good. But if I do this, right, so I'm going up, all I've got for the first bit of the song up here is just a count of 4, because I like to have that when I'm recording guitars and stuff. So this count of 4, if I just press play up here, see, MultiTrack wants to loop all of the time. So what you have to do is you have to set up a little dummy loop, right, with nothing in it. So let me just kind of select 1 bar there and then go to remote. I'll take a snapshot and I'll save that as snapshot number 11. So that should be triggered by a B, I believe. So if I go to LK now and go into the first bit here, hang on, what am I looking at there? That's not right. Oh, select the first scene, go in there. Okay, add a piano roll, and so we want this B up here. So what should happen now? Okay, I don't know why I didn't play that guitar for that one. I don't know, but okay, I don't know what's going on there. Let's have a look at that. So something gone wrong with my loop, I wonder? Let's just have a quick look. And maybe I need to reinforce that, I don't know. I love it when things go wrong in the live stream. There we are. Let's just kind of do that bit again. Because I don't know what else to do, if I'm honest. Right? I don't know why I deleted that and put it back in. Okay. Let's see. Come on. Is this one working? Well. Yes, Joe. It would seem that it is the way of the live stream. Okay. Right. And then, so I've got this. I really don't think I'm doing anything wrong here. So, yeah, let's do that, right? I'm going to take that snapshot again, and I'm going to save it there again. Okay. And then double check what I've got here, right? So for that one there, for the introduction, I've got B3. So that should play silence. And then for here, I've got C3. And that should play my introduction. You know, I've got all of LK unlocked and it keeps doing this to me. And it wants me to sign in all the time. Oh, I wonder if because I didn't sign in, that's why I ain't got my old projects. Oh, maybe that's what it is. Everyone's got my email address anyway, that doesn't matter. If it didn't work first time, just keep pressing it. It's not sign me in, is it? I'm conscious of time, so I'm just sort of rushing. Well, I don't know. I'll try it one more time. I don't know. I give up. Okay. Right, so anyway. Let's have a look. Okay, so the silence bit's worked, but the other bit's not. I don't know. I'm kind of confused by that. And I'm running out of time, so this is something that obviously I'm going to be having to tinker around with while I'm watching Doug's stream and figuring it out. But it worked earlier, and I'm sure I saved my project. And I think it's because I'm not signed in that that I've not actually, none of my projects are there. So it must be because I'm not signed in, but it's not signing in right. I know why it's not signing in. I am such a stupid hippie. It's not signing in because I put my iPad in airplane mode. Right, so that won't keep getting pop-ups. And that might be the problem. Okay, so yeah, sorry about that. So we've only got a few minutes left, so if anyone has any questions about MultiTrack, now is the time to ask me. I'm just going to open it up and have a look at it and see if there's anything I can think of that I didn't show you. Actually, I didn't show you the effects, did I? Let's just... Yes, Paul, all right, yes. Clever trousers. Okay, so let's turn the remote off. Okay, and what I'm going to do Right, okay, so there's my 12 string. And let's see if I want to use some of the internal effects in MultiTrack. I'm going to go to, let's put the reverb on, right? And then I can play here. I have to enable the reverb here. Just going to turn it up a little bit too high on purpose so you can hear it nice and clear. And then I can edit the reverb under here. There. Right, okay, so it's really nice sound reverb. And you know what I like about this reverb? It's because, you know, on iOS we have some wonderful, amazing reverbs. We don't have enough normal reverbs that just do like a normal, ordinary, standard reverb sound, the kind that you need in most regular tracks. We don't have enough of them. We have like tons and tons of amazing, weird and wonderful, clever reverbs, but not enough good, just ordinary ones. Okay, and last thing maybe. Oh yeah, last thing I should tell you, right, I mustn't forget, what you can do when you've finished your project, right, you can, once you've finished your project and you've saved all the audio, right, by going up here and saving your song again, then what you can do, if you wish, is you could actually open MultiTrack up as an instrument rather than as an effect. You can actually open it up as an instrument, and you can have multi-buses from that, like you saw in that project I opened up earlier. And also you can have multi-buses from this position too, but you would open them all up as effects. And if you want to send MIDI information to MultiTrack to trigger these loops and everything, you have to make sure that when you open it, you open up this version, MultiTrack MIDI. This one won't listen to any MIDI information sent to it. All right, okay, so I'm going to go because I don't want to overlap with Doug, because Doug is the man. And I'd like to thank you all very much for being here and joining me for this slightly not very well prepared or super brilliant live stream, because I just had a kind of a bit of a day of it today, and I'm not as well prepared as I would have liked to have been. So thank you very much for joining me here and listening to me waffle on about MultiTrack, an app that I really couldn't do without, because I like to be able to record audio inside of AUM. All right, thanks very much everyone. I will see you later. Bye bye.